First, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Rakakadash, double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Salutations to all the brothers and the few sisters out there. On to the Israelite foreigners from the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Shalom in the Hebrew, which means peace. Going to be a quick show through the spirit of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua. Lord willing, you brothers be edified. I'm going to start out with this particular scripture, and we'll go from there. It says, Ecclesiastes 1:9. The thing that have been, it is that which shall be. And what is the thing that have been? A man's soul. Alright? A man's soul. Man always on earth. Through the spirit, I was just looking at something last night. Not last night, during the day, as I was doing my running arounds. And I was looking at every single person in the store buying food. It's the same concept, that nothing changed. All right, people still got to go to markets. People still got to get food. People still do the same thing. It's something that always takes place in human history. And everybody, the only thing might change is the clothing. That's about it. But the spirits doing the same thing over and over again. All right. It says that which is done is that which shall be done, and there's no new thing under the sun. So the reason why I bring this particular scripture out, the elder brother Yashamamba has sent something on the chat, and when I read it, first of all I had to pull over and start reading it, and I was reading it. Wow. So it says ancient Egyptians may have used branding irons on human slaves. And in the caption, the brother said something he was reading to do a show, and his spirit had him find this. I didn't get to see about Apostle Gabar did a show on it as well, but it kind of hit me different because I was kind of getting hyped. I was getting amped up, like, wow. So when you read this, which I'm going to read some of it, we're going to come to find out there's nothing new under the sun. So we may think Esau's coming with something new concept. No. Even the concept of a new world order, that's nothing new. All right, that's absolutely nothing new. So who's to say the idea of controlling man's soul that is new? That's nothing new. I'm gonna read some of this, and it says small branding irons from ancient Egypt were likely used to mark the skin of human slaves. A new suggestion. It says small branding irons from ancient Egypt were likely used to mark the skin of human slaves. A new study suggests several ancient texts and an illustration, as well as 10 branding irons dating 3,000 years ago, suggest that ancient Egyptians branded slaves. These branding irons, actually made of brass, are now in the collection of the British Museum and I don't know how to say that, Museum of Egypt Archaeology at University College London. The branding irons are thought to date roughly to Egypt's the 19th dynasty, from around 1292 BC until 25th dynasty, which ended in 656 BC, according to a study published October 15th. It says, until now, most Egyptologists had assumed that they were used to brand cattle, practice seen in ancient Egyptian paintings, or perhaps horses, but the brands in the museum are too small for that purpose, says Ila Kavia. I don't know how to say it right. And the Egyptologist at the University of Chicago and studies author. They are so small that it precludes them from being used in cattle or horses. She told Live Science, "I'm not excluding the possibility, but we have no evidence of small animals like goats being branded, and there's so much other evidence of humans being branded." So it's funny how this second, maybe third time reading it, the first thing they mention is a goat, because Israel were sheep herders, shepherds. All right, so the the Egyptians were goat. One of the main things was goats. But anyway, modern cattle branding guidelines call for a brand that's larger than at least 4 inches, 10.6 centimeters long, so that the scar it leaves won't become legible as the calf grows, and issue the ancient Egyptians likely to know about too. But the brands in the British Museum and the Petra Museum are typically a third of that size, far too small for cattle. Keyes wrote, the cattle brands in ancient Egyptian paintings are also squared or triangular, and look larger than the brands of the museums. Branding people, and here's the meat of it. And this is the reason why I'm making the statement I made through the Spirit, because that's how I felt when I read it. Some of the ancient Egyptians' branding irons are almost exactly the same size as branding irons used by Europeans on African slaves. People during the transatlantic slave trade many centuries later. Keyes said, there's nothing new under the sun. Human branding irons from the mid and late 19th century parallel the size and shape of smaller branding iron discussed here, she wrote in the study. So it's getting smaller and smaller. All right. So that the same concept that they branded their slaves in the ancient Egyptians, they did it in the transatlantic slave trade. Proving that what? Let me get that real quick. Deuteronomy 28 and 15 real quick. And it says, but it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy power, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. Let's jump down to the point. Verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee. So what would the Lord say? He's going to bring us Israelites back again to Egypt. Where was Egypt? We just left Egypt. All right, we walked out of Egypt. The Lord delivers from Egypt. So what was he talking about? That was a future. This is a future prophecy that took place. And where did this take place at? It took place in the transatlantic slave trade. That's why this place is synonymously called Sodom and Egypt, Babylon the Great. All right? Because what? They were branding their slaves. Okay? You belong to the house of this person, that person. Okay? The same concept. It says, by the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. Talking about the homeland, or close to the homeland, and there shall you be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen. No man shall buy you. So does that fit the small hats? No, it doesn't fit the small hats. Okay, It does not fit the small hats to be in the land of Egypt. It does not fit the small hats to any of these curses. They don't live by these curses. They're not engulfed and devoured by these curses. Okay? Scripture tells you, matter of fact, since I'm up here, let me go up a little bit. Sixty, Deuteronomy 28:60 says, moreover, I will bring upon thee all the disease of Egypt, which thou was afraid of, and they shall cleave unto thee. Do you know, is it well known, well documented that the small hatters are infested with disease? Okay? Or that they're sick? They always in the hospital? No. It says also, every sickness and every plague which is not written in the book of this law, them will the Lord bring upon thee until thou be destroyed. Would that mean that the most sickest people on the planet Earth will be a particular people? It says, and you shall be left few in number, whereas you was as the stars of heaven for the multitude, because that wouldest not obey the voice of the Lord thy power. And it shall come to pass that as the Lord rejoice over you to do you good and to multiply you, so will the Lord rejoice over you to destroy you and to bring you to naught. And ye shall be plucked from off the land, whether thou goes to possess it. That was our homeland. It says, and the Lord shall scatter thee, all right, among all the people, from one end of the earth even unto the other, and thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy father known, even wood and stone. Let's look up the word scatter. Scatter is the Hebrew word is patazah. It says to scatter, to be dispersed. Be scattered, to be dispersed, be scattered. To be scattered, to be spread abroad. This is not you doing it on your own. You being spread forcibly. To scatter, to overflow, scatter, to dash pieces. It says Strong's definition, primary root, dash in pieces, literally or figuratively, especially disperse, break, dash, shake into pieces, cast abroad, disperse, selves, drive, retire, scatter abroad, spread abroad. So you spreading, so the Lord spread us abroad, all right, forcibly. So among these nations shall you find no ease, neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest. It's another clue. I mean, the whole chapter is a major clue. All right, we was not going to find no rest, but the Lord shall give thee the trembling of heart and failing of eyes and sorrow of mind. And that fits only us. But I got to the point where I wanted to get, because it goes into something else. So that proves that what? There's nothing new under the sun, right? It says, ancient Egyptian writings also talked about marking slaves, which was assumed to be a reference to practice of tattooing. I mean, if you can't see it, I don't know. It says, Keeve told, or carved, I don't know how to spell this. I'm not gonna say it right. Told life science, for the instance, branding is seen as depiction of prisoners of war, and carving at Midianite Hebron near Luxor and upper southern Egypt, dated to 20th dynasty, perhaps around 1185 BC. And it shows some picture, right? And what does all this means? There's nothing new under the sun. Matter of fact, let me get to the scripture. Come on. Matter of fact, before I get to that scripture, let me get this real quick. Isaiah, one of my favorites, 32, and we'll go to the point. It says, the instrument also of the churl are evil. He devises wicked devices to destroy the poor. With lying words, even when the needy speaketh right. An instrument, all right, let's look up the word instruments. The Hebrew word is kalyah, article, vessel, implantment, utensil. So the key word is implantment. So the instrument or the implantment or the utensil are evil. Okay? And they'll give you a whole bunch of different definitions. Implantment of hunting or war, of music, of labor. All right, implantment, tool of labor. Equipment, yoke of oxen. Utensil of furniture. Vessel, receptacle, general. Vessels of boat, paper reed. Paper reed was a very popular thing in ancient Egypt. But what the Lord was saying, this implant, all right, or implantable or utensil or vessel is cruel. Okay? Matter of fact, let me see if I can find I'm saying it right. Where did I go? I'm sorry. Implantment, right? So the law on it should be in Exodus. That's so. I just read it the other day, huh? Slovakia. I was right the first time. Slovakia. Should be I just read it the other day. Slovakia. If I don't AU, man. Slovakia. Alright, Exodus 21 and 6. Matter of fact, I saw that 5. Nope, 4. If his master has given him a wife, and she have borne him sons or daughters, the wife and her children shall be her masters, and he shall go out by himself. It's talking about Hebrew slave. And if the servant shall plainly say, I love my master, my wife, and my children, I will not go out free, then his master shall bring him unto the judge, and he shall also bring him to the door or unto the doorpost, and his master shall bore his ear through with an awl, and he shall serve him forever. So let's look up the word awl. Boring instrument. All right. So boring instrument. So this is nothing new. My point was, there's nothing new under the sun. The ancient Hebrews did it, which is our forefathers, when it came down to indentured servitude towards their own, and we cannot treat our servants horrible. But also, according to the article, the Egyptians did it. All right. They branded their slaves. So going back to Isaiah 32 and 5, right? 6, 7, sorry. It says the instrument also of the true are cruel. We look up the word true. True means scoundrel. All right. It says a strong definition from H3557. Matter of fact, I should look that up. Hebrew word for that is kawa, to seize, contain, measure, to measure, calculate, sustain, maintain, contain. All right, to seize, to contain. That's a point. That's the original definition. All right, strong definition in the sense of withholding, niggardly. So when the word niggardly means greedy. All right. So the scoundrel, these bastards. So we gave a scenario, and he gave the scenario exactly why would a Hebrew decide to stay with his master or another Hebrew in that manner. It's because he might do it for his wife and kids. So now, according to this scripture, it says the instrument, which we read, instrument, is implantments. All right. Also of the true, so the plan, the device of the true, which is these scoundrels, these wicked elites, are evil. He devises wicked devices, which devices plan. Let's look it up again. It's Ya'atazah, to advise, counsel, give counsel, purpose, devise, plan. So this is part of their plan. Their plan was to what? To have everybody implanted, all right, or implemented, or given, yes, implanted, all right. They want to implant everyone. There's nothing new under the sun. It said wicked devices. So the word is devices, and that's zamaha, plan, device, wickedness, evil plan, mischievous plan, purpose, planned purpose, evil device, wickedness, not chaste, incest. That's not what it's talking about, but it's wicked devices. Psalm 64:4 tells you. So what did they get these ideas from? They got it from the Egyptians, because the Egyptians was branding their slaves. So happens, who are the particular slaves they want to brand so dearly? The Hebrew, you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. It says to destroy the poor, not to help the poor. See, even the Egyptians didn't destroy their poor, but this man, he's taking it further, all right, with lying words. So he's doing it deceivably. You had a way of people that was born that was slaves, and they was branded, all right, you belong to the house of such and such, okay. Then you have the other route, which was you call volunteering for a purpose, but he's doing it mischievously, deceivably, all right. It says when the needy speaketh right, but the liberal deviseth liberal things, which is us telling the truth, all right. And by liberal things shall he stand. So the other precept, Isaiah 36:6, it says, lo, that trust is in the staff of this broken reed on the Egyptian, all right, where if a man leaned, it would go into his hand and pierce it. So I remember Elder Sakaram brought that out. I was like, it was mind blowing, but now it started to make sense. All right, the people had trusted in the system. They didn't trust in the system that Esau has created. So much so, they're willing to get pierced for it, to go back to slavery. Matter of fact, since I'm in the neck of the neighborhood, This couple of them. Isaiah 33:1, it says, "Woe to thee that spoilest, and that was not spoiled. That dealest treacherously, and they dealt not treacherously with thee. When thou shalt cease to spoil, thou shalt be spoiled, and when thou shalt make an end to deal treacherously, they shall deal treacherously with thee." Because Esau worked his work treacherously. All right, he's having people involuntarily giving up something that they never knew they had. It says, no, go back to this, is, which is what? Their souls. Ultimately, this is all about controlling the souls of men. All right, that's why this thing is so big, and all these other camps don't want to talk about it. It says, "Lo, thou trustest in the staff of this broken reed." Meaning what? You trust in this broken system. All right? Let's look up the word reed. Remember, paper reed or popper reed, however you say it, was a lucrative business for the Egyptians. They could use that thing for everything. Isaiah 19, when you look up that word, which is going to pretty much say the same here, it says reed, stalk, bone, balance, stock, water plant, reed. Cumnus or cumus, derived meanings measuring reed or measuring rod, reed as unto measure 6 cubits. Wow, funny, 6. All right. So the reed, which is 6 cubits, and this man wants to put 3 of those things in here. All right. It says beam of scales for scales themselves. Shaft of lampstand, branches of lampstand, shoulder joint. It says by reassembling rod, especially for measuring. Shaft, tube. It says beam, steel yard, balance, bone, branch, cumus, cane, reed, experiment. All right, stop. So that they trust in the reed, the broken, something that's broken, a system. All right, a broken system that is this Egyptian system. It says an Egyptian on Egypt, sorry, wherein if a man lean, it will go into his hand and pierce it. So is Pharaoh, king of Egypt, to all that trust in him. And this is what's going to get everyone, especially you Israelites, trusting in this man's system. All right. And what is that ultimate thing was all leading to? Revelations 13 and start at 15. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast. So now we starting to see, which we know the image of the beast was the Roman Empire, all right, which was the first beast, which the Roman Empire is of all these beasts in one, all these empires, previous empires in one, okay? So the concept of marking your slaves, that's not new, but that's something that the Egyptians were doing, the Romans were doing, everybody was doing the same thing. Now, the new powerhouse, the new system wants to brand their slaves forever, all right? Involuntarily giving up their rights. It says that the image of the beast should both speak and cause as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. So that image of the beast is this new world order. All right. Okay. So is this new world order. This is why this guy, what's his name? Carl Schwab said you shall own nothing and love it. Because a servant, a slave, doesn't need property. Okay? And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark, which we know that word mark, which I'm going to go into it, is charagma, a stamp or imprinted mark. There's nothing new under the sun. Of the mark stamped on the forehead or right hand as the badge of the followers of the Antichrist. All right. So they want to brand everyone, and anybody that's not willing to get branded, they will put you to death. It says to mark brand upon horses. To curve sculpture, given graven work, idolatrous image, which is not talking about that. It's talking about the brand people. When you go into, what's the word? Karax, it says a pale or stake. All right. A pale side. A ramp. Pales between earth, stone, which is not talking about that. But Sirac, or Karax, sorry. All right. So what's impel people with it? So now when they put that thing in a man's right hand between his thumb and his index finger, or in his forehead, which Elon Musk is heading that right now. It says in a right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast, of the number of his name. Here is wisdom, that him that have understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 603 scores. So proving that, once again, there's nothing new under the sun. This is a new branding system that they want to introduce the world to. All right. This is the ultimate end game. This is the ultimate life and death situation. And I'm gonna one more. That's about it. It says Revelations 3:10. Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I will also keep thee from the hour of temptation. Which is the hour of temptation is what? When you can't live your normal life and you have to choose a side. The side is you're going to be a slave to this man forever, or are you going to willing to die for Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai? And that is going to be, which is going to say, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwelleth upon the earth. So this is a worldwide event that's going to take place. So once again, there's nothing new under the sun. The Egyptians did it. All civilizations somehow, some way did it. But Esau have perfected this craft. That's why, through the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, I was thinking about it. That's why he's the vessel of wrath fitted for destruction. He was appointed to do it. All the things that these other heathens did and their wickedness, and the Lord's still going to have mercy on them. But there's no mercy going to be given unto Esau, because he has taken it to a whole nother level. So with that being said, I hope you brothers edify. Shalom to the elect of the nation of Israel. Shalom.